All right, so now we're going to move to a quick, really basic introduction / preview to coordinated response, school-wide threat, or school-wide crisis response and recovery. So we're going to touch on this more at our MPD session on crisis response and recovery. So let's say, that in this case, for vignette 3, when we went over it, we found that it was moderate. But let's say that the risk assessment yielded concern that the scholar had a weapon on campus in their locker or hidden elsewhere. Maybe there was evidence via text that this student had texted, that Dua had texted another student saying that they had a gun on campus, or maybe there was a picture of the student with the gun, of Dua with the gun, or what appeared to be Dua with the gun that was sent via text message, or maybe it was found on social media. So, it heightens the level of threat. So what would we do? Well, this would likely yield a lockdown of the school, which would involve calling the police and them having to do a sweep until it was clear that safety was established. The school leader would reach out to their instructional superintendent, and the instructional superintendent would either reach out to the Scholar Family and Community team. More specifically, it would be Aaron Diaz, Darius Williams, and Listella Scorsia. And we would support with next steps. Additionally, there would be they would involve the Knoll and the comms team, so that they can support with communication, because there's going to need to be really clear communication that expresses what the school is currently doing. There's we want to make sure that we're limiting the possibility of false narratives getting out, and we want to make sure that we're doing it in a way that is informative without causing panic. So it's a balance that you would work together, that admin would work together with the instructional superintendent and comms and with support of the SFC team to make sure that is done in the most sensitive way possible and in the most efficient way possible. We want to make sure that we're moving quickly and trying to do things as simultaneously as possible. So there's less of a chance for false narratives to be spread. So this would definitely, again, this would be different than the last one, because we would definitely be calling law enforcement. And so then for the next pieces, we're not going to get into detail now, but you can see the difference here is that there would be more involvement and support from the home office team. Some of the things that we'd want to consider is once the lockdown has ended, that students and staff might feel impacted emotionally and mentally. And so we would work together to make a plan that makes the most sense for the school, either having us or some of the agency partners coordinate with your on-site counseling providers to triage the kind of mental health support that's needed. Sometimes schools will say, you know what, we've got it handled. We can handle it with our our mental health team or our counseling providers at our school. So with the school psych, the school social worker, and the school counselors, and we have a plan for how to make sure that we're supporting our scholars. But the home office is also here to help coordinate those supports and services as well. And we will talk about that in more detail when we get to the MPD coordinated response, particularly the second part of that, and the school-wide threat or school-wide crisis response and recovery session that's going to be on Thursday between 2:30 and 4. Unlike at the beginning of this threat of violence session, where we were more focusing on this part, we're going to be focusing on the kind of the more, when we're looking at the threat and safety continuum, the more serious threat and safety concerns here. So that concludes that part. So I'd love for you to take a moment and reflect. It's a lot of information. So just take a moment to consider the following prompts. How might I take what I learned in this session back to my site? Who from my site team might I want to connect with to ensure alignment of roles and responsibilities when it becomes to threats of violence at my site? And how might I organize the tools and resources for myself in a way that makes sense to me and my team? And then write your responses within the section in the Google form that it corresponds to. And then there will be more opportunity to think about this further again on Thursday. But I'd love for folks to, if they have time, to discuss with their teams what they learned, and maybe revamping or updating some of the existing resources, or adding or including some things that they're seeing might be missing from their processes. So I encourage you to just take a moment, respond to this, and then connect with your team.